Hello, and welcome to the Anonymity and Qualtrics Voluntary Contact Information Training Module. I am Paul Byrne, Research Data Services Librarian at Syracuse University Libraries. What we will cover today is, quite simply, how to collect contact information with an anonymous survey. Even though the responses are anonymous, you sometimes need to ask for contact information for follow-up. In this instance, you need to keep the contact information separate from the survey responses. To do this, you actually need two surveys, the main one that you are administering, and then another one to collect the contact information. The main survey is anonymous. The second is not. You can link the two surveys by using a custom end of survey action in the main survey. Let's take a look. And here we are in what is our main survey. This is the survey that you would be administering to your respondents to collect the basic information that you would like. As your very last question, you would want the question to be, do you want to provide contact information for follow-up? Yes or no? This question is important because this is what will trigger the following actions that we'll be taking a look at. Let's take a look at our second survey, which is the one that actually collects the contact information. And here we just have one simple question. Please fill out the information below. We ask for first name, last name, and email. And it's important that you do it this way because this information will populate the contact list that you'll be creating with this. And those are the fields that it needs. So let's go quickly and take a look at the contact list, or at least let's create one. So we'll go over to contacts. And we will create a contact list. We'll call it contact info. And usually at this point, you could import the information from a file or add them manually. But we're going to have it populated by the survey itself. So we can just go ahead and skip this step. And you can see that we have our mailing list, contact info, with 0 members in it. Just take a quick look and you see there's nothing in here. So let's go back to our contact list, our contact info survey. This is the second one that actually collects the information because we need to do a couple of things here. First, we would like to create an action, and that will actually take the information that the respondent fills in and put it into the contact list. So we'll create the action. This is going to be an event-based one, namely the event being them filling out the survey. And your choices for what starts the action is survey response or Salesforce workflow. We, of course, want survey response. What do you want to look for? We will have newly created responses. So it says survey response, somebody responded to the contact info. I'm going to click on this plus to do the actual, what they call task. And for this, we want to click on XM directory, add contact info or distribute a survey. So we're going to add to XM directory. Select the contact info contact list. And here, see, is where we need the first name, last name, and email address to match. So we click here, survey question, first name, last name, and email. And you can have other fields if you want, depending on your particular application. And click on Save. And we're done here. I'm going to go back to the survey for a second because we actually still need one bit of information. Really want to go to distributions. We'll get anonymous link. And then we're going to copy this link because this is a link that we need to put into the survey flow of the main survey. So now we're going to go back to that main survey. And then to survey flow. And then we'll click new element here. We're going to do a branch at this point. It says this branch will not be triggered until you add a condition. So we want it based on a question as opposed to any of the other selections there. And then what question? And we want that to be, do you want to provide contact information? And yes. So click OK. Then we'll click under the branch for add new element here. We're going to go to end of survey because this is a custom end of survey element. Then we'll click on customize. We have to override the options. Then what we're going to select here is redirect to a URL. Take that out, and then we're going to paste in the URL that we took from the contact info survey. This is the anonymous link to that survey. Click OK. So now the person will answer the survey, they'll get to that last question, and if they say yes, they will be branched out and sent to the contact information survey. If they say no, they'll just get a regular end of survey message. We'll click apply. We're going to go back to the survey builder. Now we're going to go to survey options and then to security. Then we're going to click anonymize responses so that it doesn't collect the IP address because, of course, IP address is considered personally identifying information. So we've made our changes. We'll click publish so that they all take. Click publish again. Now, just to demonstrate this, We'll go to distributions. Click on anonymous link. We have our main thing here. And do you want to provide contact information? I'm going to say yes. Submit that. Takes a second. Now we're brought to the survey where we can enter in our contact information. And submit. So let's go back. Okay, we're still in our main survey here. I'm just going to click on data and analysis so you can see there's a little bit of data in there. That one response should be coming up. Sometimes Qualtrics is a little slow with this. It doesn't know that there's one that's being processed. Try that once more. Okay, and so you can see the one response that we have. I want you to remember there's the start date and the end date. These dates, it's just the July 27, 2021, 11:13 a.m. When you download this data, this will be a full timestamp down to the seconds. So let's go to our contact info. We'll look at the data here. And here we have the one response. Now, one thing that you need to keep in mind, and this is important, is that the start date and time of the contact info line of data will be exactly the same as the end date and time from your main survey. And since the timestamp as when you download it is down to the second, it is still possible to match the contact information with the main survey using those timestamps. This is something you just need to keep in mind. There's no way to turn that off, unfortunately. And so now let's go take a look at the contact list. And you can see there's now one person, namely me, in the contact list. So you can see that collecting voluntary contact information from your respondents from an anonymous survey is really pretty simple once you know how to do it. There's a little bit of back and forth and certain options you need to make sure are clicked, but it really is pretty streamlined and pretty easy to do. So, in conclusion, to gather voluntary contact information, you need two surveys. You link them using a custom end of survey action in the main survey. And you must be sure that your main survey is completely anonymous. Remember that it still may be possible to link the contact information with the survey responses by matching the end and start times. Thank you. We welcome your comments and suggestions. Our contact information can be found on the web page. Be sure to watch the other modules on Anonymity in Qualtrics. Anonymity in Qualtrics Introduction, And Anonymity in Qualtrics, how to.